Welcome back. No, I was hoping we would say it at the same time. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to
Mentored,
Mentored. Are we still?
the
The.
podcast.
Yeah, keep doing
Oh
it.
no, it's what is it?
What do we even say?
It's business mentorship in real time. Hi,
Should we do it?
Hi,
That'd be
Alyssa.
so sick.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
What do you need mentorship on today?
Okay, in a full. Hold on. Whoa. In full transparency, I had another idea for a podcast, and we had to talk about it this second. So we actually just filmed the one before, and this is why we're still sick.
Yeah, I haven't been sick for weeks. This is just all filmed on the same day.
So we don't always sound like this, and
And if you hear any hard cuts, it's because I'm sneezing away from the mic.
yeah.
What do you need mentorship with today?
So I want to talk about school,
Okay.
namely business school.
All right.
What do you? I mean, I kind of know some of your opinions on it, right? But I was thinking, do you feel like it's necessary as an entrepreneur to go to business school? Do you think I'd be better off if I went to business school?
No. No. I don't particularly care for business school. I don't particularly think business school is good for entrepreneurs, and I don't particularly think no, I don't. I definitely do not think you should go to business school personally.
Fair. I don't think I can afford it.
That's fair. Entrepreneurs are broke. Just kidding. My main problems with business school are because the content of the curriculum from my experience, which is not going to business school, is not catered towards actually running a business.
This is what I was gonna kind of add on to it. Is I feel like it might just be something where it's like, if you're gonna be working for a business, it's better, you know.
I think there's something to be said about like marketing school maybe or something like that, but I think like most of so for context, like I've never gone to business school and I don't really know anyone that's gone to business school that I talk to in any major way, but I've been interviewed by business schoolians a lot, actually, surprisingly. I don't know. They
Subtle flex.
the business college here does a project where they have to interview like a local business person, and I find every year somebody's sending me an email about
That's kind of cool.
about this, yeah. And from what I gather from those questions, I'm like, what are they teaching these kids? I remember one time I got asked about headshots on LinkedIn, like what kind of money should you be spending on headshots and a brand for like your LinkedIn, and I'm like, oh yeah, when I network I just get drunk and then add them on Snapchat. And I was like kind of kidding but like kind of not, and then they're like, just like the face of these 18-year-old business students are like, what are you talking about? Like it's more about just like, you know, how can you make this person money? You know, it's not about the image and that sort of thing. That being said, I think the big exception to what I'm saying is like top tier schools, business schools, like the Harvard Business School of the world sort of thing, and that's not because of the education, but because of the network that it kind of unlocks for you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Where you're meeting other really smart people and really rich people, and getting involved with, you know, rich families and whatever, and you're meeting them on like a day-to-day face-to-face level. So I think like all the best things about the top tier business schools are not about the school at all, but about the people in the school, right?
Right.
So that's the one caveat I'll give to that. But I think for the most part, entrepreneurship is a oxymoron to have an entrepreneurship class, because I don't think you learn nothing that I have learned through being an entrepreneur has been through reading entrepreneurship books or internet or whatever. It's always been through living it and failing through it and struggling through it and having to figure it out.
Right.
So I think for the most part, my advice would be like, the same money that you would spend on a business school, use it to start a business, fail, and then you've already learned more than the money. And if it works, then it's great. Yeah. But if you start with the idea was like, well, this is going to be a project for 4 years, whatever, maybe that'll take some of the risk out of your mind, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I would rather people do that. I think, like, just start a business rather than go to business school.
Yeah. That's what I was like, I kind of thought that's what you were going to say. Like, also, like, mostly just because, I think my opinion on it is, like, school isn't bad, obviously. But I do feel like even for me, and baking is for sure, like, a very technical thing. Like, that there's only so much you can read up on it before you just have to, like, learn by doing. And I feel like the longer I've baked, the better I've gotten. And I feel like kind of the same with, like, business, although I wouldn't say, like, better I've gotten, but, like, more experienced. And I think there's so many things that happen that, like, you can't just put in a textbook, Yeah,
and I think, like, your baking school makes sense because, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like you're writing papers on souffles. Like, you're baking in the kitchen.
Yeah, you do a little bit of both.
I think, but because, like, it's funny that you almost call it a vocation, because it's like, it almost is. It's almost like woodworking or whatever. It's almost like, there's a reason why we do, like, home ec in grade school, right? So it's an interesting... I'm just trying to, like, I'm making the distinction between, like, learning hands-on and learning in a classroom, I guess. And I think, like, for the purpose of, like, entrepreneurship specifically, now, what I've heard smart people say is that if you want to go to school for anything, go to school for accounting.
And
then start a business with that in mind. You'll have a much better idea of running your business from an operational standpoint if you understand accounting and money. But, like, the school, I don't know. It's all about the networking to me, because I think, like, all the positives, like, you're not going to learn the part about growing a business, the drive behind it and the dreaming and that part you're not going to learn. You're going to learn by doing. You're not going to learn by being in a classroom. And maybe you could learn business operation, but I don't think you can learn, like, startup operation. Maybe you can learn, how a giant Fortune 500 company works and how the different layers of executives work and stuff like that. But every single startup I've ever talked to is completely different than everything else. Everything else is like, startups are held together with duct tape and baling wire. And, like, I don't think you can write a textbook about it because there is no consistent lived experience with entrepreneurs.
There's not really a blueprint.
No, there isn't. And everyone I talk to, and I know dozens of entrepreneurs very well on a very intimate level, and none of them are the same, even close. Everyone's business and operation and how they personally like to do things and the industry and the products, and it's all completely different, and you kind of build the business around what works for you personally when you're in your startup phase. Not, you don't have this big corporate structure that you can just plug people into. You have to create this, it's not even a structure until you're at least doing, $1 million a year. I don't think you really have a structure that you can just plop people in and out of, right?
Yeah.
You have this, I really believe in the kind of just making it up as you go along scenario, because I think one of the best skills that you'll teach an entrepreneur is not, like, knowing exactly what to do every time a problem happens, but, like, the self-awareness and the skill to be able to deal with problems as they come up is a much better thing to teach somebody than, like, okay, well, textbook says that if this problem happens, then this is the solution. That's not going to work. But I think like what we should be teaching people, or what you should be learning, going out to learn yourself, is exactly what I said, which is like, when that problem comes up, don't worry about what the textbook says. What do you feel intuition wise you should do to solve this problem? And if you can train your intuition, I think you're better than any. You're already ahead of anyone that went to business school. And I think that the only way to train your intuition is by throwing it in situations where you need to use it. And I think business school is probably a great way to work for somebody like me or you, or to go work at your father's company or whatever. But
that's a fair point.
But I personally would recommend, and again, like I always usually preach, like, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't care what you do. But because you're asking me, my mentee, if you should go to business school, I would say, no, I don't think you should.
That's fair. My other question then, final question, is if you would recommend a course to a budding entrepreneur, what is like the main thing you think they should go learn? Other than, like, I guess accounting, you said.
Yeah, accounting I think is a big one that if you needed to do something, I think would be a good one, because all businesses run on accounting.
Right.
You can only get so far by just having no books and having everything in cash, and like you can only get so far.
Oh, you're telling me.
Accounting I think is a big one. Marketing I think would be a big one as well. Sales and marketing, but I don't think there's any like sales courses,
like,
maybe.
So, yeah, I mean, like, there's like some like specialized courses you can do. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, when I was in college, I did take a like separate accounting course.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think it was like, I don't know, you just got plugged into their like one of their curriculums, but you only took that one course. Yeah. So I know there's like stuff like that out there. That's why I was like, if you could do any specialized thing.
Like just think about like what, if a business doesn't have cash coming in, doesn't have customers, then there is no business to optimize. There is no business to do business operations with, if there is no business with cash coming in anyway. So you need, the most important things for a business, besides a product obviously, are cash coming in, and then a way to account for that cash and spend it, right?
Yeah. No, that's great. Do you want to know what I would recommend, even though I'm the mentee?
Yes.
Anger management and stress management.
Right. I think there'd be something to say about maybe human resources, human relations.
Like, honestly,
like
a management course, I did, like, it was a joke, but like a management course, like, probably would not be the worst idea. You guys,
not to deal with, not even to deal with employees, but to deal with customers.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing I'll say is like another course that is like something in your field, right? Like if you want to get into cabinetry business, doing a carpentry class, or if you want to get into a winemaking business, doing a wine making class or whatever, something like in your vocation, just like how you own a bakery and you went to baking school in a castle in Germany.
Flex.
Something like that in your vocation, I think wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
but again, I always kind of fall back on, I think it would be better just to go do it.
Yeah, what is it, like the School of Life?
Nice.
That's what people say.
School of Hard Knocks.
Am I supposed to say what's that? Is it a joke?
No.
I've never heard this.
Oh. It's a hard knock life
for
us.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like the School of Hard Knocks is like, that's like one of the oldest phrases in the world, I think.
I was going to be like Joe Mama kind of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
hard knocka.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. No. It's like a very popular, famous phrase from very long ago, where it was like, if you didn't go to, a fancy school, you went to the School of Hard Knocks, and that was like learning street smarts and all this,
School of Life, then. There's things to be learned all around us. We can't cut that out,
Feel mentored today?
Yeah. I will withdraw my application from business school.
Anyway, thank you for listening to Mentored Podcast. You can follow us mentor_D on Instagram and Facebook, and Mentored Podcast on Twitter because the first username was too long. You can go to me, that is Willows. You can just Google me, Willows, or whatever. Shrugdot.com, SHRUGDOC.com, MapleLeafRubberStamp.ca, CanadianMarking.com, CanMarkIndustries.com, DrunkDividends.com. And then,
Yeah, I mean, I always ask Editing Willows to do stuff, and he never does.
it's hard.
But that's me. Thank you for your mentorship.
It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life.